I can speak louder, but I feel like it's. Can you hear me okay? Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم والحمد لله رب العالمين نوينا تعلم وتعليم وتذكر والتذكير والنفع والانتفاع والإثارة والاستفارة والحث على التمسك بكتاب الله وسنة الرسول والدعاء إلى الهدى والدلالة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله ومرضاته وقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Welcome back. I think does it sound okay? That's a good idea. Jazakallah khair for the sound crew, for accommodating, and for the extra cushions for my aging lower lumbar. Today was back day, so I have an excuse. It's really great to see people showed up again. So this will be our second talk on ring composition specifically. Now this is a series, a 6-talk series, but technically it's an 8-talk series. If you'll recall, a couple months ago, I came and I talked about interpreting oath verses, and also the mulk and malakut, and why that's important. We'll probably touch on that a little bit again tonight because it's going to become relevant in how we engage the Quran. It's going to become valuable to us. How many people were here last time? Just to show of hands, I want to get a feel for. Okay, none of you. Oh, right. Okay. Most of you, though. Okay. I want you to imagine that you live on an island with a group of people, maybe an entire society. And then one day you see a bottle floating in the ocean and it washes up on the shore. And you find the bottle, you look at it, and everyone around you is just in awe of it. It's just, what is this? This is incredible. We don't have anything like this. It's extraordinary. It's otherworldly to us. And it's so beautiful. And somebody must have sent it to us because it's not just floating out in the ocean on its own. And then you notice, because you're intelligent, that there's a piece of paper inside it, parchment inside, rolled up. And now you're intrigued. What do you want to do? You want to read it. But now imagine everyone else is telling you, no, that's not important. What's important is how beautiful the bottle is. Be careful not to break it. So don't even open it. Let's put it up on an altar in the temple, and for all of us to just gaze at it and say, wow, what an extraordinary accomplishment. Whoever sent this must have really liked bottles. It sounds ridiculous. We do this with the Quran, don't we? I wasn't raised a Muslim, so you can imagine maybe it's a little bit, maybe not jarring, but unsettling to me when I see Muslims who are maybe late in their lives starting to engage the text, because for me, I had to part ways with another tradition quite early when I was just a kid, realizing this isn't for me. Whatever's in this book here, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not interested. So then when I meet the Quran, I'm dumbfounded, literally dumbfounded, speechless. And by the way, this is what the word i'jaz al-Qur'an means. You've heard of this expression, i'jaz al-Qur'an? I'jaza is a verb in Arabic. So i'jaz literally means to render you speechless. We often say, oh, it's the miracle of the Quran, but we have other words for miracle, but i'jaz means specifically, it renders you speechless, dumb. dumbfounded. And so for me, I'm all about the message, right? To the detriment, even to the neglect of the beauty of the rhythm and the rhyme and stuff like that. The audio, like a lot of times it's not easy for me to just listen to the Quran because I want to understand it. You know, I was the guy, many times I would tell people if we're driving in the car somewhere and they turn on the Quran as background and say, "Ah, can we turn this off?" If this isn't something that should be in the background for me. I feel like I should be paying attention and really engaging and listening, and I can't focus if we're talking over it. So it was always something I've lightened up. I've learned to lighten up in my age. So, but the Quran for me is first and foremost a message. Someone sent this message. Someone, yes, and it was crafted in this beautiful mode, modes. And yes, the composition, the ring composition is pretty extraordinary. It's remarkable. I don't want to say unique because it does exist in other oral texts, but I don't want to diminish just how extraordinary it is. And for me, if it does not facilitate better understanding, I'm not interested. If you're telling me about the numerological miracle of the Quran, I'm not interested. The scientific miracles of the Quran, I'm not interested. I'm just not. I'm sure it's very interesting to a lot of people, but it does not, for me, it does not increase my understanding of the message in the bottle. It just tells me how incredible the bottle is. You with me? So I don't want to, I have to be careful how I talk about this. And one, I want to magnify the importance of studying ring composition, but I also want you to kind of pump the brakes a little bit. Do not get captivated and stuck in the rug, as we mentioned last time. Don't put it up on a pedestal. If it's not increasing your understanding, then it's not the message, right? So what I'd like to do tonight is explore a couple things. I haven't done this in a while, not since I taught college. Tonight we're going to crowdsource a commentary. We're going to try to interpret or understand the Quran based off of the Quran itself. Tafsir al-Qur'an bil-Qur'an. And we're going to try to stay within the surah itself. Okay? So I want to walk you through how, last week I showed you what is ring composition in a high level overview. We talked about a little bit about the flavors it comes in, the orders it comes in. Sometimes it's in a ring, sometimes it's in a parallelism. But tonight I want you to do it. We're going to do it together. I've already done it. But I want you to do the heavy lifting today. I did all of the work last week. So I'm going to take a break. Sound good? So if you're in the front row, well, you picked a good night to be in the front row. Okay. So I want to make sure that I prefaced everything correctly. One more thing. Why is it important to me? Why is ring composition important to me? If it's not for the bells and whistles and the oohs and the ahs of it, all right? Well, one, it was intentional. The author intended it to be read this way. If it's written this way, it's intended to be read this way, right? Written is maybe not the right word. If it was revealed this way, it is intended to be heard this way. Agreed? Okay, no dissenting voices yet. This was so commonplace. This is the second reason why it's really important to me. It was so commonplace in the 7th century Arabia, but even outside of Arabia. We find it in the Rig Vedas, we find it in Zoroastrian literature, we find it in Indonesia, we find it all over. We find it in Semitic speaking lands, the Old Testament, the so-called Hebrew Bible. We find it all over. Of course, the rings and the composition of the Quran is really, it's next level. I'm not I'm not trying to be biased, but it is really extraordinary compared to the other traditions. But my point is, this was so commonplace at this time, and it's so foreign to us that we actually have to take a class on it. There are people who are writing PhD dissertations on this, as if they're just now discovering it. But I sense that this was so commonplace. There's no way the Sahaba did not know this, in my opinion. There's no way. There's no way. They lived with this. But yet they don't talk about it, right? They don't go into great detail. There is a scholar, modern scholar, who claims that this was part of some early tradition, but I haven't found evidence for it yet. I need to do some more research there. But you just don't find it in the early commentaries among the Sahaba, that's the Salaf al-Salih. You don't find it among the generation after the Sahaba or the generation after them, where they go into great depths of how it constructs meaning, how it changes the meaning. It's so commonplace that they don't talk about it, right? It's almost not noteworthy. It would be as if we were trying to describe, um, how a story is constructed. You start with the introduction, and then you have the body, and then you end with the conclusion, and that's just it for us. But the way the Quran is revealed, it was intended to be understood in these different layers. Okay, so that's the other reason why it's really important to me. The third reason is, reading only part of a ring, you're not getting the full context, and you risk misinterpreting it entirely. We'll probably see an example of that tonight. Okay, so there might be some fireworks towards the end. I'll save it towards the end. Right? Otherwise, all of the questions will just be about that. Okay, so let's try this together. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to look at my notes while I'm looking at the document. What I've pulled up here is a translation from Itani, Clear Quran, not Khatab, another one, but it's close enough. You'll just have to trust me on this as an Arabic linguist. Just trust me on this. It's close enough. And I kind of, moved some things around. I didn't like it. But this is going to be Surah al-Duha. And please feel free to play along at home. Sorry, my keys are all. Duha. I'm going to just leave it at this. No, wait, I'm a purist. Surah al-Duha. This is one of the what we call Meccan surahs, and it begins with oaths. What number is Surah al-Duha? Which one? 93, 93. And forgive me, we're doing this in English. It's just to make it accessible to everybody. But there will be times where I will have to reference the Arabic because it's important. But we'll do this together here. Surah al-Duha is a Meccan surah. It begins with oaths. It's very short. It's one of the characteristics of a Meccan surah. And we're going to try to do this with several surahs tonight, but they're all going to be short. Just honestly, it's just because of the amount of space that we can see on one screen. I started to do this with, I think, Surah Abasa, and then I realized that there's just no way, like, we're going to be able to read all of it in one setting. But maybe I can take chunks out of it and show you different patterns within them. And then towards the end of the series, we'll look at the entire Quran as it's the composition of the entire Quran, how surahs relate to one another. Okay, so I want you to just take a second. Can you all see this? Is it big enough? Let me zoom in. I didn't feel like making slides today, so I just pull up a Google Doc. And you can do this on your own, by the way. The goal of this is so that you can do this on your own. It'll take you a few times to get used to this, but I'm going to give you some pointers along the way. Right? I'm hoping that maybe you can discover them on your own. The first thing that is very relevant, that is helpful in identifying, like, where where a ring sits or where a ring, a section separates from another is going to be in the recitation of the Quran itself. You'll notice it'll change rhythm, it'll change a melody or maybe not melody, a rhyme, right? So for example, al-Qari'ah, mal-Qari'ah, وما أدراك ما القارعة يوم يكون الناس كالفراش المبثوث وتكون الجبال كالعهن المنفوش. Right? That's a very clear departure. They're separate thematically, even if you don't understand the Arabic, you know that they're separate. Well, when you read it in English or you understand it in the Arabic, you say, these are different sections, right? Or maybe there's some lack of continuity. But what we want to see tonight is how it's actually so well orchestrated and coherent that. Can you guys see my pop-up messages? Okay, brother's messaging me. You know I'm going to talk right now. Why aren't you watching? Okay, so that's one thing. The acoustic or the auditory, like the sound. We're going to stay in the English, a lot of it tonight. So without that, what's another thing that we can look for? A thematic break, right? And let's see if we can find it in here first. So we'll try to break this into big chunks and then try to find out if there are other rings or parallelisms in here. Okay? Just take a minute to read it to yourself. I'm not going to read it to you. You had a second for it to soak in? Where are some breaks that you immediately see? Ayah 3. It's a break from 1 and 2? Yeah. What's that? I changed that. The translator says it's and. It's not and, it's by. It's another oath. There are two oaths here. By the morning light, وَالضُّحَى وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى مَا وَدَعَكَ رَبُّكَ وَمَا قَلَى. This is another thing to look for. A really long ayah, like longer than maybe the preceding section. It's going to indicate, here comes a shift. Okay? So by the morning light, by the night as it settles, your Lord did not abandon you, nor did he forget. So you're saying the next 2 and 3 are together? So we want to put maybe is this right? The one above. Okay. Where else? After 5. So your Lord did not abandon you. This is the new section. Your Lord did not abandon you, nor did he forget. The hereafter is better for you than the first. And your Lord will give you, and you will be satisfied. And you say 6 is the new section? Why? Very good. It's these subtleties. It went from telling you to now asking you. Okay. Did he not find you orphaned and sheltered, or sheltered you? Where else are we going to see a break? After 8. So it says, did he not find you orphaned and sheltered you, and found you wandering and guided you, and found you in need and enriched you? End of the question section, right? Therefore, do not mistreat the orphan, nor rebuff the seeker, but proclaim the blessings of your Lord. Please don't hate me for the translation. Translations are always tough. This is close enough. Horseshoes and hand grenades. It's okay. Okay. How do we like the sections so far? Yeah. Okay.
Like if I was just to read the first two sentences on their own, like I wouldn't understand what it's talking about.
Yes, that's very good. I'm going to say here, what he's saying is he wants to combine 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that's totally fine. And part of the reason, if I understand correctly, is because 1 and 2 by themselves, it doesn't make sense, right? Yeah, and that's fair, and it's honest. I like that. By the morning light, by the night as it settles. What are we talking about? Remember, we even talked about this when we do the oath verses. We have to look in the context of the surah to understand why these oaths are being made about these specific, what we call witnesses. What testimony is the morning light giving, the duha? What testimony is the layl, the night, giving as it settles? Or I don't like settles. Lays silent. As it lays silent. Ida sajah. Right? It goes quiet. Okay? Give me a second here. Okay. I would say the oaths stand alone. Okay? They're going to be treated separately. This is a prologue, an introduction. Okay? Completely separate from the surah. I want to say separate, but they stand on their own. So I'm going to insert a little divider. Okay? Now let's keep that separate for a second, and let's focus on the 3 sections below. Your Lord did not abandon you, nor did he forget. The next one begins with, did he not find you orphaned and sheltered you? And then the third one begins, therefore do not mistreat the orphan. Is anybody seeing anything? Am I tripping? Am I seeing something no one else is seeing? You're seeing it? Is this the first time you're seeing it? Yeah? You'll never unsee it now. But there's more. Let's read the second line of number 4, the fourth line. The hereafter is better for you than the first, and found you wandering and guided you. Here, nor rebuff the seeker. We don't see too much there, but there will be. Now let's read the third of each one. And your Lord will give you, and you will be satisfied. Row 8, or line 8, and found you in need and enriched you. This is a question. We're starting to see something, right? That is in line 5. What's the Arabic? Yeah. فَأَغْنَى, enriched you, right? Now then for 8, so for 5 and 8 and 11, do you see the connection there? It's about enriching you, satisfying you, your Lord giving to you, found you in need, but gave you. Okay? So let's do this. Oops, I'm going to pull that one there. How about that? So this would be what we call parallelism. That is, you'll have a section, or 3 separate sections, and each one of them kind of mirrors or flows in the same order. Yeah, there's a question in the back? Oh, yeah. It's not getting bigger for me. There we are. Is that better? Okay. Okay. So for these 3 sections, they clearly like rhyme with each other thematically. So while maybe when you're reading it at first, you think, I don't understand, what is this even talking about? It's kind of all over the place. Or as Orientalists love to criticize the Quran, it makes no sense. It's a jumbled mess. Yeah, if you read it linearly, but if you read it cyclically, it makes beautiful sense. So far, so good? Okay, so this is an easy one. Now, what does that have to do with the morning light and by the night as it lays silent then? This is the main point. This is the main event. An oath is always the main, the gist of the surah. Anyone? I'm sorry? It is also a cycle. Oh, because of the light and the day. Yeah. I like that. I'll tell you how it adds value, or how it adds meaning for me. How it increases my understanding of the surah. And that is, when the night is silent, right? In the day, in the morning light, I see everything. I'm not worried. I know that I'm taken care of, but the night falls silent. Where is my Lord? Panic starts to settle in. It's innate in us, to kind of be afraid of the dark. But as it goes silent, it's as if, wait, all communications have been shut off. No, 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 it's not true. It's not true at all. You don't see your Lord. Yes, it's dark, and yes, you don't hear him. But if you look closely, you will see his names manifested in the creation. Yeah? So it's a very comforting way to read the Quran. The meaning doesn't change, but the meaning becomes deeper. Right? Not just for me? Okay. How are we doing? Move on to another one? All right, it's kind of going to be a little bit, maybe not rapid fire, but we're going to go kind of quickly just because I want to cover some ground for you to see other examples. Ooh. Not sure which one I want to do next. Some of them get difficult. Give me a second. Let me see. Okay, we'll do infitar. We'll do infitar. The breaking of the sky. Okay. This is also in Juz Amma. There's no oaths, but it's still very palpable, right? You see, like it's very descriptive in the imagery. Okay. So we can kind of go through this one together. But what number is infitar? إذا السماء انفطرت وإذا الكواكب انتثرت وإذا البحار فجرت. Which one? 87? 82nd. So 82. So if you're, wanting to maybe compare with another translation, or you want to read the Arabic line by line, it's just a matter of how much, screen space we have here. Let me close this one. Can you see in the back? I can try to zoom. Oh, we're going to run out of space, but we'll do our best. Okay. Take a minute to peruse over it, read over it, and see if you can just identify high level, where will we separate the sections. Okay, you had a second? Mind if I zoom out just a little bit? Sorry for the folks in the back. You can just come closer. Okay, when the sky breaks apart, when the planets are scattered, when the oceans are exploded, when the tombs are strewn around, each soul will know what it has advanced and what it has deferred. You gotta be careful. In the English, it's longer, but it might not be so in the Arabic. What is it in the Arabic? إذا السماء انفطرت وإذا الكواكب انتطرت وإذا البحار فجرت وإذا القبور بعثرت علمت نفس ما قدمت وأخرت. So it's not that separate, I think. It sounds very much similar. And then the next ayah is actually يا أيها الإنسان ما ربك ما what is it? ما غر ربك. Yeah. Okay. So where are we going to put our first divider? After 5? Okay, I like that. It's also very nice because it oops, let me fix that. It's nice because the next section begins with questions. The previous was very imagely, like a lot of imagery, very rich, very powerful imagery. Now it's all questions. Oh mankind, what deluded you concerning your Lord, the most generous? He who created you and formed you and proportioned you. Right? And it even changes voice. First, it's talking in the third person. Each soul will know what it has advanced. Now it's, oh mankind, speaking to you. Right? So this is another, I guess, way of recognizing where there's a break. Okay? He who created you and formed you and proportioned you, in whatever shape he willed, he assembled you. But you reject the religion, though over you are watchers, honest recorders. They know everything you do. The virtuous will be in bliss, while the wicked will be in hell. They will enter it on the day of justice, and they will not be absent from it. So, where is there any breakage here? Do we see any like multiple sections? 12 and 13? Ah, yeah. They know everything you do. The virtuous will be in bliss. Ah, it shifts voice again, right? It's talking about in the third person again, right? Good call. So let me separate that there. Where else? Anything further? 16 and 17? And they will not be absent from it. But what will convey to you what the day of justice is? Okay, Yawm ad-Din. ثم ما أدراك ما يوم الدين. Okay, these rhetorical questions coming. Okay, so I think we got enough sections. Okay, are there any possible parallels, or maybe in the bigger sections? Do we want to break it down further, or do you see any resemblances across the episodes here? This is called reading episodically. So you read it in episodes. Each one of these kinds of sits alone. In whatever shape he willed, he assembled you. Okay, but you reject the religion. Yes, I like that. I'll take it. So far we have this first section, the second section, the third section, the fourth, and we're going to put in a fifth. Okay. Jazakallah khair. The first and the last section. Do you guys see that? So the first section is talking about what? the day of judgment, Yawm al-Qiyamah. And then the last section is Yawm al-Qiyamah. Pretty cool, huh? Okay. So what would we expect then? If the beginning and the end match up, are we expecting parallelism again, where we see like one like ABC, ABC, ABC? Probably not. What will we see instead? A ring. We should see ABC, C prime, B prime, A prime, right? Or ABC, CBA, or ABCD, CBA. You with me? Okay. So let's see. Oh man, what deluded you concerning your Lord, the most generous? Now we want to focus in on 13 through 16. So we're gonna, let me see if I can highlight these in any way. Do you draw any parallels between these? Can you say that again? I'm having a hard time. Ah, very good. Yeah. So 6, 7, 8 is talking about past events. 9 through 12, the present. And then 13 through 16 is the future, inshallah. Yeah. Can you elaborate? He said it's talking about the individuals, in case you couldn't hear it.
And then the last part is about where they end up.
Okay. So yeah, he who created you and formed you and proportioned you. It's talking about the man coming into being. In whatever shape he willed, he assembled you. He can do whatever he wants with you. And then you're saying in between 13 and 16?
That's the final.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. It's almost hard to put put words to it. I know what you're meaning here. It's almost like an entrance way or something. There's some. It's the next stage. These are stages. Okay. So what about the centerpiece here? The central theme. But you reject the religion. What is it in the Arabic? كذبوا بالدين. I have to look at it. Say it again. كلا بل تكذبوا بالدين وإن عليكم لحافظين كرام كاتبين يعلمون ما تفعلون. That is, over you are watchers recording كرام كاتبين. That they are noble or honest and writing. That is, your life is being recorded for you by the angels, and they know everything you do. يعلمون ما تفعلون. This is the central theme of the surah. This is the main takeaway. And we know this because this is, I believe this is the only section that begins with, what was it again? You reject the religion. What was it in the Arabic? Kalla bal tukadibuna bid-din. This kalla is a very forceful expression. And then the next one, inna alaykum lahafidhin. This is the double ta'keed, the inna. which is expressing like verily. It's saying this is indeed. It's very strong. Inna alaykum lahafidhin. And then the salam ta'keed at the beginning of hafidhin. You guys, if you don't know what I'm saying, take my Arabic class. We meet Sundays and Wednesdays. Quick plug. Okay, so that's inna alaykum lahafidhin. It's a very forceful, probably the most forceful ayah in this surah. Okay, so why would that be the centerpiece? I want to maybe think of this and then the descriptions of the Yawm al-Qiyamah. Sakin, I see some of you just tired, waiting for me to give the answer. You're doing the lifting.
A large theme is things that are considered unfathomable. Like I 1 through 4, seems like kind of miraculous. The sky breaks apart, planets are scattered, oceans are
SubhanAllah.
and I 7, 8, whatever shape you will be, creation of you, the things that beyond your imagination.
Yeah. SubhanAllah, yeah. It's almost absurd, right? It's unfathomable, unbelievable. What is the beginning of line 9? In the English, you lose it entirely. It doesn't just say, tukadibuna bid-din. Tukadibuna bid-din. Tukadibu bid-din. You reject the religion. Kalla bal tukadibuna bid-din. Is it plural, by the way? Kalla bal tukadibuna. Okay, I need to revisit this one. Kalla bal. These two words you don't really translate them in English. They just mean like it's so absurd. It's like the idea that you would reject this deen is an absurdity. It's like this violent upheaval of the natural order. That's what's wrong with it. How clear it is, and you would reject it. Like the beginning of the Yawm al-Qiyamah. It's almost like there's a pairing there. The Yawm al-Qiyamah is as violent and destructive as rejecting the deen. And so the consequences are accordingly. Now, what's interesting is this actually ends with each soul will know what it has advanced and what it has deferred. And in this section, the angels, they know everything you do. So there's another subtle rhyming there. Okay? This requires more work, I think. I think there's a lot more that we can do with this one to draw more meaning out of it. Shall we continue? Do you want to move on to the next one? I want to be cognizant of the time. Oh, we're running short. Okay, we need to move on because I promised fireworks. Where's Kareem? Is Kareem here? He's gonna miss it. Okay. Yeah, let's do Tariq. Okay, so this is Surah At-Tariq. At-Tariq is, what number is Tariq? 86. So go to your app, find 86. All right. This one's gonna be tougher. This is one of my favorites because I'll tell you why. I don't understand this surah without understanding the ring composition. I'll just be honest. I read it and read it and read it, and I don't know what's going on. But that's me. So this begins by the sky and the night visitant. وَالسَّمَاءِ وَالطَّارِقِ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الطَّارِقِ النَّجْمُ الثَّاقِبِ. That is, by the sky, وَالسَّمَاءِ وَالطَّارِقِ. Tariq is a funny word. Taraqa means to knock, like if you knock on a door, taraqa. But it also is related to the word for tariq. What's a tariq? like a path, a road, right? So it was, some commentators talk about how Tariq is one who's traveling at night, like a visitor coming to knock on your door on a long journey. Okay. There's also, Imam al-Bara and I were talking about this, that there are pre-Islamic poems about at-Tariq being referenced to as a star in the sky. So it was called at-Tariq. Okay. So this is was-sama'i wa-Tariq, that is by the sky and the night visitant. But what will let you know what the night visitant is? The piercing star. There is no soul without a protector over it. Looking over this, where would you like to put the first, I guess, divider? Between which two? Which ones? 3 and 4? 4 and 5? How about tentatively we'll put both? All right. Where else? Why? First of all, I want to hear a rationale for why between 3 and 4, and why between 4 and 5. Who said between 3 and 4? It says the piercing star. This is redefining. Whenever Allah says وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الطَّارِقُ, or وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ something, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ is always like, I'm going to tell you a new understanding of this. You understood this as something else. This is how the Quran is understanding it. النجم الثاقب, so the piercing star. How does it? Why are we dividing between 3 and 4 here? Yeah, that's a really good observation. Yeah, it's talking about the cosmos first, the sky, the stars, or the planets maybe, and then now it's talking about the soul and a protector over it. Okay. By the way, this is what we call jawab al-qasam here. That is, the first one is an oath, right? By the sky and the night visitant. It's 2 oaths. And then this here, there is no soul without a protector over it. Some say that this is the response to that oath, as if to say the sky and the night visitant is in some way some kind of evidence or a testimony claiming there is no soul without a protector over it. Okay. And the other one was between 4 and 5. Why? Yeah. Yeah. It does seem like a break here. Now we're talking about how man is created, whereas before it's talking about the soul. Okay, so we're going to keep line number 4 as a separate unit by itself. Okay, a separate section, and then we're going to continue through with 5 and onwards. Okay, let man consider what he was created from. Here comes the fireworks. He was created from gushing liquid, issuing from between the backbone and the breastbones. He is certainly able to return him. The he here in 8 is Allah. Okay? إِنَّهُ عَلَى رَجْعِهِ لَقَادِرٌ. Right? This is also what some would argue is the Jawab al-Qasam, and I'm inclined to agree with that. That this is the main point. In other words, this is the main point of the surah, and it's right in the middle. Okay? On the day when the secrets are disclosed, he will have no strength and no supporter. It's talking about man here, obviously. By the sky that returns, another oath. Yeah, you want to put one there, don't you, right? Yeah, that's a new section. Okay, it's because it's a whole new oath series. And the earth that cracks open. You got to be careful with the English here. When it's saying cracks open, it's referring to like how plants can emerge from it. It's not just like earthquakes or something, or like cracks in the road. It's referring specifically to like how, you know, the cracks out of which little plants or weeds or something will grow. Okay, And most scholars will say that by the sky that returns, when it's talking about the sky here, they look at it in two ways. One, they say that this means the weather system. That is the rains as they come, the rain cycle. It comes and goes, and we know this cycle exists. Others say it's about the seasons, right? The fall returns every year, spring returns every year. So it returns. So it's by the sky that returns. So there is this returning imagery. Okay, and then the earth cracks open. It is a decisive word. This is not an oath. This is إنه لقول فصل. إنه لقول فصل. This is another what we call jawab al-qasam. In other words, this is the answer to the claim, or to an answer, or to the witness of the sky and the earth. Their testimony is, it is a decisive word. Okay, so we're going to put another one here. It is not in jest, meaning the word, the Qur'an, the revelation from Allah, is not in jest. It's nothing light. وَمَا هُوَ بِالْهَزَلِ. It's not a trifle. Okay. Another break? Yeah, because now it's talking about they plot and scheme. It changes the subject entirely. It's no longer talking about the Quran. It's talking about the enemies of the Prophet ﷺ. Yeah, that's right. In the oral, in the Arabic. So it's وَمَا هُوَ بِالْهَزْلِ إِنَّهُمْ يَكِيدُونَ كَيْدًا وَأَكِيدُ كَيْدًا فَمَهِّلِ الْكَافِرِينَ أَمْهِلْهُمْ رُوَيْدًا. It's a different rhyme scheme entirely from the previous section. Okay, now this one is really interesting to me because I spent a lot of time on this one, and I had to rely on my daughter. Actually, I don't think she's in here tonight. She helped me out with this. So here's the fireworks. This one here. Let man consider what he was created from. He was created from gushing liquid. This is going to be important because understanding this accurately of what's actually being said here in the Arabic is going to allow us to decompose, or like basically find the composition. Okay. Let man consider what he was created from. He was created from what? What's the Arabic? ماء دافق. ماء دافق. خلق من ماء دافق. From gushing water. Gushing water. That's literally the translation. Okay. Now, interpreters, how do they usually interpret it? The male reproductive fluid. But the problem is issuing from between the backbone and the breastbones. That's not where male reproductive fluid is created. So some scholars, they looked at this and said, well, okay, this is about maybe the backbone, and so backbone can be also loins. That's a legitimate translation, loins, or it could be the sacrum bone, right? So it's between the ribs, the breastbone, and what's below, or it's between the ribs and the backbone. Okay, both are legitimate translations. What fluid, gushing fluid, is between? You're not allowed to answer. You, we talked about this. have we talked about this? Okay. What gushing fluid comes from between? Stand up. Between here and here. Huh? Blood? No. We're going to let sisters answer this one. Not milk. You're not created from milk. Exactly. The water of the womb. We need more women mufassirin. I'm not trying to, placate and play nice with the sisters. I'm just saying, like, when we have these kinds of I think this is a big faux pas. I think this is a big, like, I hesitate to say mistake, but a lot of scholars, they've looked at this and they missed, for me, it's just plain as day. This is the only thing it could be talking about without creating other problems, without creating other interpretive problems. It must be talking about the amniotic fluid. We even say her water broke. In Arabic, we say it too. Al-miya infaraj. It broke. Infaraja. Broke her water. It's gushing fluid. Okay? Now, further evidence to this. All right, before I start getting ushered off the stage and people hitting me. This next section here, 9 in line 9. On the day when the secrets are disclosed, the word here for secret is sara'ir. Sara'ir. Right? From sir. Sir is a secret. Okay? Sur, anybody know what the word sur means? Huh? No. Umbilical cord. It's the umbilical cord. So this imagery here, I'm not saying that on the day of judgment your umbilical cords will be disclosed. That's not what it's saying at all. It's the word secret, meaning your inner secrets, your sins, your misdeeds, whatever. These will be exposed for all to see. But it's a play on words here to say sara'ir, which every Arab will know. Sir and sur are related. Secret and umbilical cord. The belly button is also what it's used for. So it has something to do with birth. So much of the Qur'an, actually, even the word Qur'an. do you know the original meaning of the word qara'a? Not iqra, like iqra bismi rabbik. What is the original meaning of qara'a? Anybody know? Huh? No. That's a later meaning, yeah? Like if you look up in Lisan al-Arab or Taj al-Arus or Kitab al-Ain, any of the classical medieval primary dictionaries, we'd say qara'at an-naqa. Qara'at an-naqa. The camel is pregnant. Qara'a meant pregnant. Its primary meaning was al-jama'. Al-jama'. I'm not making this up. You can go and look, and people look at me like, no, this isn't true. No, go and look. I had to go look, so you go look. The primary meaning of qara'a in classical or in Quranic Arabic was to join together. The meaning of the word al-Qur'an is al-jama'. That's what they say the word Qur'an means. It means to join together. And how does it come to mean pregnant? Because they say this is where the body is assembled. It is joined together. The fluids come together to create a human being. This is the relationship between qara'a, meaning to gather, or jama'a, and to be pregnant. Qara'at an-naqa. Al-qari. Al-qari was a pregnant camel. Like hamil. We say hamil. Here hamil, she's pregnant. Hamil, she's carrying. But they would say also, here qari, she's carrying. She's pregnant. She's assembling a human being in her womb. Qari. It's fascinating. So much of the Quran actually echoes or lends itself to this imagery or this theme of something coming into the cosmos, a human being coming into the cosmos, or in this case, the Quran, Allah's speech coming into the cosmos, coming into our creation. It's not from the creation. The Quran is not from here, but it comes into it. Anyway, so that's important because, and I just got a signal telling me to wrap it up. So let me just kind of space these out for us. I'll do the work for us here. This is how I initially organized this, where it's a complicated structure, but the inner rings are not rings, it's a parallelism. Okay. Now, what is the relationship here between let man consider what he was created from, and he is certainly able to return him? And why is 8 the most important ayah in the surah? If he can create you from this, he can create you from nothing. He can resurrect you easily. And that is what this is here. He is able to return him. Return meaning return him back to life. The word here is, um, what is the Arabic? إِنَّهُ عَلَى رَجْعِهِ لَقَادِرٌ. He's capable of raja, returning you. Okay? So this whole surah is trying to impress upon us, as far as I'm reading it, the evidences in the creation, in our observable phenomenal realm, all that point to the resurrection, the bodily resurrection. This is an important distinction. The Quran, it stresses the bodily resurrection. Did you know that this is what the early opponents rejected the most? Those who eventually said, yeah, okay, we accept the akhirah. Okay, yeah, we accept the resurrection. But when the Quran says, no, it's a bodily resurrection, they're like, from bones and dust? Yes, from bones and dust. Okay, and furthermore, and we don't have time to break these apart, by the sky that returns and the earth cracks open. This again is also lending itself to life coming again and again and again. Not in a reincarnation kind of way, but rather Allah can return you back to your state. He can bring you back alive. Okay? Okay, we got to stop there, inshallah. Any questions on this one before we... All right, okay. Let me end with a dua, inshallah, then we can move on to the questions for the next few minutes, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا انفعنا بما علمتنا رب علمنا الذي ينفعنا رب فقهنا وفقه أهلنا وقرابات لنا في ديننا مع أهل القدر أنثى وذكر سبحانك الله بحمدك سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. I want to give time for questions. Sorry, we have to end the dua is very short. No questions? Too easy? Yeah. Oh, like the context in which it was revealed? This one I don't remember. Yeah, I was just had a conversation about it a while ago, but it's escaped me. Does anybody know the one of any of the asbab and nuzul, the context in which it was revealed? I'm leery of these, by the way. Most of them are not authenticated. You don't find a lot of hadiths about the revelation, like the time in which things were revealed. So there's a second genre of literature where this was kind of reconstructed. To the Siraat, that's another tough one. Yeah. Yeah. No. What's that? I can't hear. Sorry. Google it? Oh, I guess I could. I can ask. I'm sorry. It takes a while. Okay. While we're waiting for this, any other comments, thoughts, questions? Yeah.
So in one of the previous surahs you mentioned how much of that is background or coming with versus something that
Both. I mean, I do not envy the job of a translator of the Quran. Like it's usually what somebody does towards the end of their life, like after they've consumed copious amounts of reading and studies. It's not easy. And then further, the second point though, that the language inherently, they just don't line up very easily, Arabic and English. Um, but I would say that a lot is lost. You know, there's a lot to be said about the shape of the sounds too. I know it sounds kind of strange, uh, but it's kind of like an onomatopoeia effect. How certain sounds, they have a certain weight to it. By the way, as a linguist in phonology, we talk about syllable weight. We use the word weight to talk about how heavy a word is. So it's not just playing loosey goosey with these terms, but a lot is lost in when you translate out of that sound structure. You know, as Michael Sells famously said, the Quran breaks the Arabic language. Breaks it. Yeah, you had something.
I know in Surah Al-Qur'an 19, that's by far one of my favorite ayahs because أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا إِلَى الطَّيْرِ فَوْقَهُمْ صَافَّاتٍ
Oh yeah.
The expansion of the wings is the word itself, and then
That's
the
right.
contraction is the contracting of the word. And it's just as mind blowing to me because I can only pick that up because I know that surah and I know that. How much more am I missing?
Subhanallah. Yeah, learn Arabic. Learn Arabic. I don't want to say it's incumbent, but do your best. She's talking about in Surah Al-Mulk where there's an ayah that says, "Don't they see how the birds when they fly?"
The birds above them expanding and contracting their wings.
Yeah, safat. Saf is the saf. It comes from saf, but it's safat. When you recite it, you have to elongate this. So it carries that same significance. Subhanallah, that's very. I never noticed that. Jazakallah khair. Yeah.
Could you dive deeper into the meaning of belief?
A ring.
I didn't attend the past.
Oh yeah.
Session.
Yeah. Let me see, which one are we looking at here? Okay. So when we wanted to, so a lot of the Quran, even in small surahs, short surahs, it seems like it changes subjects a lot, and it's hard to make sense of it like a cohesive understanding. So what some ulama, and this is also very, very recent that people are spending a lot more time on this, thanks to the works of Imam al-Farahi and his student al-Islahi, um, that there is a singular coherence of the surah, and yet even though they seem like separate themes or topics, we'll find that they tend to line up with each other. They'll rhyme. And so they came up with this term, just ring composition. But that's just the ring composition. The ring is this idea of the first ayah, or say the first section and the last section line up. The second section and the second to last section align. The third section and the third to the last, and so on and so forth, until it creates what looks to be a ring, and you get to this central, the fulcrum. But what we're looking at is more than just ring composition. This is also the parallelism. It's not just A B C B A, which would be a ring. It's A B C B A B C A B C. We see that. Okay, they're kicking me out. Is there time for one more question? Quick one? Yeah, I just saw one in the back. Yeah. Oh man, we don't have time for that. You asked me with like 0 minutes left. Let's see, there was a cab driver that was impactful. My sister played a really big role in it, but she didn't know. I mean, yeah, Louis Farrakhan. I mean, there's a whole. I know you're looking at me like, what? Yes, Minister Farrakhan. I was not in the nation, but it's okay. All right, yeah, but maybe another time we can have this conversation. Well, Jazakallah khair. I really appreciate everybody playing along. Next week we can try to do a little bit more of this again, but I want to give you more to chew on. I just wanted you to get your hands dirty with the process of this. Inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
All right, assalamu alaikum everyone. Jazakallah khair, Professor Elijah Reynolds. All right, assalamu alaikum everyone. Jazakallah khair, Professor Elijah Reynolds, for an amazing talk on the ring composition in the Quran. For those who might not know, this is the second session. There is a total of 6 that he will be joining us for. So please join us again next week to continue the series. And as mentioned before, we will be hosting our nighttime Eid social this Friday at Zareen's around 7 p.m. So join us there for Eid social, inshallah. Please tell our wonderful vendors. We have Crepivore here. They sell crepes, and then we also have Chai Fee. She has coffee and chai and refreshers as well. And for community dua requests, our community member Anissa's grandmother passed away, Allah yarhamha, last week. So please make dua for her. May Allah grant her the highest levels of Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen. For last few reminders, we will be praying Maghrib shortly. So for the men, as you know, just follow like the perimeter of the building to enter the men's prayer hall, and then for the women, you can enter through like both double doors and follow there. And then the men and women's bathrooms are just right out these doors to the left and to the right. And then lots of new faces for the summer, so please just take some time to say assalamu alaikum to someone new, create the community that you want to be a part of. But yeah, aside from that, thank you so much, everyone.